Not all stories are about success, and nobody gets to the top without first spending some time at the bottom. I'm Paula Howley, and this is Rock Bottom Stories. Today's guest endured years of rejection and bullying before she learned to become a warm and happy person. Let's find out how with your hosts, Rafiq Ahmed and Dave Ross. Rock Bottom Stories. It's something new, and it's all about you.
Thank you for that introduction. And thank you for joining us here on Rock Bottom Stories. All of you have made this possible. This is episode 7. Welcome.
And thanks to all our guests who've been with us through this journey of 6 episodes and counting. Those of you who've been in touch with us, asking us to listen to your stories, we are listening, and perhaps you could be the guest on our next episode. But if you haven't heard from us yet, it means you will hear from us soon. Thank you so much for being in touch with us and letting us into your stories.
Now, Rafiq, I have to ask you, can you tell us a little bit about our guest today?
I certainly will, Dave. Our guest today is going to share with us her rock bottom stories, her struggle of fitting in.
And we welcome our guest, Salsabila Alharby from Saudi Arabia. Welcome, Salsabila.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure to have you here, Salsabila, and thank you for showing the courage, and thank you for supporting our cause by coming forward to share your rock bottom story. Thank you for that.
The pleasure is all mine, and thank you.
Great. Salsabila, before you joined in, we had a very quick run through to who you are with the help of a small video, but nothing beats your own words. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and where you are in life right now.
I'm Salsabila Alharby, and I am from Saudi Arabia, and I am the middle in the family, so 2 boys, and before me and 2 boys after me, and then my little sister. So I actually come from a boys family, and mostly boys family, very few females. And also, as currently I am working in a large company as an HR professional, but I did not start that way. I actually started as a dental assistant in the same company in the medical field, and I worked there as a dental assistant trainer for a very, very long time. And being a trainer actually just helped me learn so many things and be so many things. And also, in addition to that, later on, I was able to move jobs and be an HR professional.
So you've been a professional working woman your entire background. Is that correct?
I actually, I yesterday or last week, yeah, let's say last week, I was looking at the years of service I had, and started, couldn't stop dropping tears because I felt like I spent 2/3 of more of my life um, in my career, more of half of my life in my career. So that's it's like a lot of years of service, and hopefully, yes, it was a service. I do, I do have a long experience in the corporate world.
A professional woman experienced in the corporate world. Tell us a little bit about your rock bottom.
Okay, it's not going to be a little bit, it's a lot. And it started way back. As I told you, I came from a mostly boys family where at a very young age, I felt like I was left out somewhere. And out of games, boys' games, out of boys' territory in the house, out of out of and that was fine because that happens in every family. But the hard part is when you go out to society and you find the repetitive uh, actions of people. And I remember going to elementary school, and it was an international school, and it's actually it's just a private school, and most of the people were from one culture almost, and I was a little bit different, and that's where mostly I felt left out. And I know how they say kids, don't really differentiate, but somehow at that school kids did. And I remember trying to fit in and trying to play with the girls who probably I look different skin color and background, culture background. So I tried to fit in, but unfortunately, uh, I found it very hard. So my mom tried to help, and she brought me this big box of candy to, and it was like really nice, like kids candy. That's like not every at that time that was like something really good, something really famous. It's the whatchamacallit of that time. So I started trying to distribute the candies to them, and they wouldn't take it. And thought, wow. And that felt to me that was like the most. Sometimes bullying can be silent, and feeling left out and rejected, and that's where it started so early in my life. But then as I grew older, I went to like different schools, got a little bit better. I'm a jolly person, but not everybody, just especially when you go to schools that people have like come from the same family or the same group of, and you try to fit in. Fortunately, I was able to travel out of the country and go to a totally different culture where there's a lot of acceptance and a lot of I was like really taken care of. I made friends, and I was really happy in that culture, even though bullying continued, like shorty, ugly, and all of these things. And I feel now I just feel like the kids, what they go through, it can be so hurting and painful. And I am fortunate to be able to I was able to have a social network or a group of friends that would help me feel like a shield, feel protected, feel stronger. And when I came back, I tried to fit in different ways. Then I went to the university. When I went to the university, it was like a culture shock for me because I saw too many girls. Because especially here in Saudi Arabia, we have the girls university is all girls university and the boys is totally separate. So that was the first time I see this amount of girls in the dorm, and I didn't know how to fit in. I tried, like the way people dress and the way they have different groups, and it wasn't an easy thing. But that wasn't only it. When I went and started to learn and went to university, and I was really hoping to get my degree in allied medical science, to be either a physical therapist or a speech therapist. And by that time, it took me a really lot of effort to be able to learn how to learn, being in a totally different culture in a dorm. It took me a lot of effort. And after years, like almost 3 years, I took summer classes to improve my grades and be able to take off. And as soon as I felt that, as I was on like the tip and ready to skyrocket, the dean of the university changed and the system changed, and I was one out of 200 people who were dropped out of university. um, Not because we did something wrong, because the system was totally changed. And that was so devastating for me, because I had a dream. And again, it's sometimes not just the people who are around you who make you feel left out. Sometimes the systems drop you out. And that was really painful. I had to go back, and now I have to deal with explaining and justifying the last 3 years in a dorm in a different city. And again, it's all about fitting in and trying to be, um, you know, like, I'm okay. I'm smart enough. Uh, it's just, the system. I'm smart enough. Maybe I'm different. Maybe I'm slower, but I'm smart enough and I can make it. And by that time, I got an offer to be a dental assistant for a diploma. And after 6 months of starting to study, and I was so happy in that environment and the training and all of that. After 6 months, the university called me and said, we're taking all the students back, because it shouldn't have been done that way, and the system should apply on the new people, not on the people who've been already like halfway through. I had to make a very, very difficult decision at that time. Is it like be a graduate of university, or be take the diploma with a job? So I had to make a difficult decision. I decided to stay where I felt more accomplished, more comfortable, and I was like really fast track, because I was ahead of most people in that program. And as soon as I took my job in there, again, it's so difficult how people can treat people. And you think that bullying is at school? Wait until someone goes to a job, and people start um, not giving you a chance, or the chance you deserve. I remember, when I was in first starting my job, trying to prove myself, or whether when it was the onboarding program at one of the sections I joined, and which was not a really good onboarding program. So I had to learn by doing. And I remember hearing people, saying and shouting out from behind, my back, "Are you blind? Can't you find the file? Don't you know that this week is your turn?" And things just like striking you in the back. People spoke different languages that I understood some of it, and they would be talking and giggling behind the back. And it's like, what did I do? And I keep asking myself, what did I do? And I remember collapsing one day and just crying out, screaming out my lungs is like, I can't take this anymore. I cannot take this anymore. This type of treatment, trying to be assertive, trying to be nice, trying to, when you try everything, but you find a group of people. So everywhere there's this group of people who just try to leave you out. But at the same time, there's always this group of people, or this at least one person who's an angel who's supporting you. And it takes a lot of effort. If you're different in maybe the way you look, the way you dress up, the way you speak, or your skin color, they didn't like that you're too good or you're a little bit behind. And there's always this thing that people, the only way to express their misunderstanding of different is eliminating or bullying. At that time, I just decided that I will be strong and I will prove myself. Uh, I will prove myself very, to the best I can. And I remember doing surgery and holding the instruments, and the doctor was asking me, the surgeon, "Are you sure you can do this? Because we have the expert here behind us," who was a little bit against me. So I said yes. And in spite of the pain I was feeling standing in my back, I said, yes, I can do this. And I was pushing myself hard enough to make sure that I did, and I did it successfully. And I just didn't want to let go of the pride, dignity, and my aspiration to prove that I can, and I will, and I am.
Salsabila, definitely it's a fight to fit in, and you definitely need someone to help you along the way. And as you mentioned, there were people that you found as your angels. Tell us a little bit more about this inner circle, if I may say, and who were they, and how did they help you?
I'm not a very social person. I am social, but I'm more of a shy person, and I don't like crowds. If there's like a gang of people, I'm more of like a one-on-one friend, or a group of like people who are very much like me, quiet, jolly, just simple, uh, not big braggers. So um, I found in every place I try to find a person or someone who is more like me. And like when I was in this surgery area, there were the head nurses and the surgeons. Most of them, let me say, were really respectful and really kind, and really impressed with what I was doing, and the skills I was able to build, the growth that they've seen when I started from like zero and very newbie to the surgery area. And then I went, and that's dental surgery, and I went and became, as they ended up calling me, the consultation queen. So I used to do their consultations for them, and they would like take it, as stamped done. um, the thing is, I do find people, because there are always good people around you, and that's where it's sometimes they're much older, sometimes they're from a different field, but definitely there are people that you have to sometimes spell your heart out to. uh, but I just want to highlight that everywhere you go, there are both, and you don't have to uh, blame yourself, there was one point that I started questioning myself. Is there something wrong with me, with the way I look, or is there something? Why am I not fitting in? And as I grew older, and I went throughout my career, I found that it was just, it's just circumstances that you go through, and it's something that will end as you grow further. Just need to learn how to be assertive, and yes, pick your team. And I don't have a lot of people, but sometimes all it takes is just one person to be there for you, to listen to you. When I was at school, I remember when I went to this different country, I remember that sometimes the boys, I'm a short, I'm not very tall person, and so of course that shows when you're a kid. So as being like 12 years old, I remember the boys or the sometimes the other girls are like, you're too short. We don't want you on our on our game team, whatever that game is, and volleyball or whatever. So I remember having people there that just stand up for me and say, "Hey, we want you on our team," or "We want to be with you." But definitely, now there are more. I figured out that more when I traveled. When my job sent me to a trip to USA with a very small group of people that I thought were my supporters. And then there I really felt rock bottom, and I was able to figure it out there.
What happened on this trip to the USA? Did they further push you away and make you feel like you didn't fit in, even though none of you were from that country?
Yes. Now, what happened is when I traveled with a few coworkers who some of them were uh, people who are not, who would, try to eliminate me sometimes.
Hmm.
But in other, as we grew older at work, we learned, there's some respect, some social, activities. We talk, so we're not enemies at all. It's just, we don't agree on many points, but that doesn't make us not like be go together, work together, and do things together. However, when I traveled, the first thing that happened is I found myself as soon as I arrived after like almost 30 hours trip. As soon as we arrived to the hotel and I started booking, and it was late at night, I started the booking, my room, or confirming just taking the key for my room. I found this, my friends or coworkers taking a different floor, totally different floor, far away. And it was just like, I was too tired to think, but I just asked myself why. And then the next, after like it was a weekend, so after 2 days, we went to the university, and there were a lot of Arab people in the university who started inviting us to their homes or to taking us on trips and just
Hmm.
or orienting us to the city. It was Iowa, so it's like they wanted to take us to different places. What my friends did, they said, don't engage yourself with them, because we don't, we're going to be having our own plans, and we'll go to shopping and stuff together. So I said, okay, why not with them? And then we were living in a hotel for about a very long time, for more than 2 months. And it's like a luxury, and that was offered to us by, our company. It was too much of a luxury for many people there. So they said, they don't have to be like exposed to our, lifestyle at this current point. So let's just keep everyone away. I believe that. And on the weekend, were supposed to go out together. So the first thing I did is like it was the Saturday morning. I made the phone call and I called. No one answers me, and we were supposed to have breakfast together and go out. And I did. I made my calls once, twice, three times. No answer, and then it hit me real hard that I was left out and I was abandoned. And those people had certain plans that they didn't want to tell me. We have certain plans that we don't want you to know of, but they didn't want anyone to be involved. And I was like in the middle, the person in the middle who was like bothering them. I have certain values. I have certain beliefs that I wouldn't agree on many things that some people's choices. So what happened is they left me, and I just went to my room, and I just, after having breakfast, I broke down. I'm in a foreign country for me, first time in this place that I don't know anything about. I don't have friends. At that time, there were no mobile phones, and I made a decision. I asked my question: am I gonna stay here in my room for 2 months? This was the first weekend. For 2 months, crying and being, left out, going from university back to my room, or am I gonna make a difference and a change?
Yeah. Salsabila, it is definitely hard for you to not just fight with the people close to you, but the people that you meet at work, but also everyone that you meet. If they are going to have an attitude which pushes you away from them, it is hard to be felt this way. Tell us, what made you so positive to keep going and not actually get bogged down by this negativity that you were being faced with? What was that kept you going?
One of my biggest lessons here is this circumstance when I was in the US alone, and I say alone because I was totally left out, is asking myself this question. And I'm lucky to have a father and a mother who helped me grow strong. And I remember when I was, little, and I would tell my father, there's this grown-ups group, and then there's this boys group, and they're playing together, the boys, and then and in my culture, we don't mix a lot, even though my family is like more open-minded, but we don't, I'm not going to go play with the boys, and they're sitting and chatting, and going to sit with them there. And then there's the grown-up group who are talking about whatever parent stuff, and a little like 12 years old or something, sitting there. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. We're out on the beach, and I just didn't know what to do. I was going back and forth between them. And I remember my father, I went to my mom and I said, I feel so sad because I don't know what to do. And everybody has someone, and I'm just alone. And I remember my father getting really, really upset, and he says, you go and go to that boys group, and you go and sit with them, and you figure it out yourself. So I remember, like, it's like he gave me a slap on my face. Just make the best out of the situation you have. um I'm not gonna go, we're not, no one is swimming or anything, so I was just sitting. It's either here or there. So I just decided to go to the boys, and they hated me for that. But they're all my cousins and my brothers. But it just taught me a lesson. And I remember staying in that room in the U.S. and asking myself this question: what am I gonna do? I have two choices. I'm gonna make the best out of this. This is like a lifetime opportunity for me, staying in the U.S. In a very different, in a city that probably I wouldn't travel to, again, by choice, because they're like, I would go to Florida or different places, but not this. So this is not like a tourist country city. So I'm gonna make the best out of it. And I went downstairs to the restaurant I eat in every day in the hotel. and I saw the cashier, and I said, I introduced myself. I said, "Hi, my name is Salsabila. What's your name?" And she said, "My name is Ari." And I told her, "When is your uh, week days off? When are your days off?" And she said, just like a question on her face, she said, "Today." Why are you asking? I said, "Can I go?" I said, "Do you go out with someone?" She said, "No, I usually go out on my, on my own." I said, "Oh, what do you do on your weekend?" And she said, "I go to the movies, I go shopping." "Do you go out on your own or with someone?" She said, "No, I go out on my own or with my sister sometimes." I said, "Can you take me with you?" She said, "You are so bold." And in my head, no, I am so uh, so slapped or so broken
Mhm.
that I'm willing to do anything to fix it. And that was the best choice I made in my life, best decision at that moment. I made friends with this person. She said, "We're not even allowed to make friends with our customers and clients." And I said, she said, "But you know something? Let's go. Where do you want to go?" I said, I haven't been to a movie in my life, a real movie theater. Can you take me to the movies? And then restaurants. And it's what was one thing after the other. Then when I went to the university, I made I started making friends with my colleagues there, with the people who were like some of them were the experts there, some of them were our instructors. And I got to actually the dean of the university decided to take us on his uh, personal airplane. He was trying training for flying hours, and it was just this four-seated airplanes, with the I don't know, with the engines on the outside, the big fans.
Props.
And yeah, and he said, "Do you want to be co-pilot?" I said, "Yes, it's a dream." And I was helping him. Of course, I wasn't really a co-pilot, but I was helping. He said, "Okay, you move this. I don't know. It's called steering or something. Move it up. When I tell you to talk, you talk. You say this exactly to the station so they can hear you." And it was the best experience I had because I was in the front seat co-piloting, and his wife was in the back. So that was one thing. The other thing I had was a dream for me also is to go horseback riding. And I asked one of the ladies to take me. I went to the rodeo. I went on horseback riding in the middle of a forest for more than 1 hour. And I just was doing one thing after the other, and then I was invited to go to Chicago, where I visited like the Navy Pier and everything, the Hancock Tower. At that time, long time ago, it was like one of the tallest in the world, and
Mhm.
it was just one adventure of after the other because of one decision, because of being bold, because of just saying, "You know something? Can I be friends with you?" I like, "You're nice. Can I be friends with you?" And I made so many friends at that place, and I had one of the best adventures in my life. But that didn't stop there. As I came back, I I had experiences like one of my supervisors telling me that you're worthless. And what's funny, because I had lots of absent days compared to others, not compared to the system or to compared to the guidelines. It was like, I think maybe around around uh, less than 10 days actually in that whole year. And we were talking about November or something. It was like I had less than 10 days. So compared to others, that was a lot. So it's like, you have too many absences. You are useless. And I at that point I was requesting for days off because I was going to a conference to deliver a useful presentation to 200 people. It was a global conference for marketing companies, and I was there to give a presentation, and it was like my side niche there. And I was thinking, if this person is telling me I'm useless, and 200 people are waiting for me, and they think I'm useful, So just the irony of what people might tell you or might look at you. It's because of them. It's because of what they have in their heads. It's because of they're not comprehending the meaning of being different, or maybe better, maybe less. Uh, it's too complicated, and the best way to express that is by rejection, showing neglection, or being a bully, showing aggressiveness, actually, verbally or in actions. So I just figured out that it's up to us to make decisions every day, because we will need those people every day. uh, they're not gonna you know disappear. And it's not just in the corporate world, it's at home, it's in the corporate world, it's in families, it's out there in the streets, it's just everywhere where people just cannot accept you for who you are, for your color, for your religion, for the way you talk, for your behaviors. Maybe you're just too nice for them. They're they're tough people and you're too gentle. You're too thank you, excuse me, miss. You're too much of that. That's too much for them. So that's how all of this happens, and it's all in here, in your hearts and your minds. It's what's the decision you make. Because no one, when I was told I'm no good, I'm useless, there's no one who's useless. Everyone is useful for something, even if they don't know it. Each one of us is useful for something. I have learned things from the people I would never want to even talk to, people who are like maybe labeled as uh, different names: bullies, tough people, angry people, people who know nothing, uh, not too intelligent. Every one of them that I've met, they've added something to my life if I interacted with them. And sometimes it just takes like sitting with someone for 5 minutes, or maybe and less than an hour, and then you'll figure out and you'll find out that wow, I've learned that. I've met people who are so mean but so generous at the same time. They would give out their food and everything, but you don't want to deal with them. And I would say, wow, that's a quality that I would want to acquire, and being so generous and so sometimes selfless, but without the attitude. I remember one of my also um, rock bottoms is going through health situations where I had severe eczema. And it just tells you, it's like anything can be something that people would reject you for. I had just this skin flare up of eczema all over. My hands were cracking. They were like totally um, destroyed, and they just had like scratches all over. I used to hide my hands, because the first thing when I talk to people, they look at my hands, not me. And then I got this flare up on my face of just everything went wrong with my health and with my skin. I remember going to a shop, because I do take um, very well care of my skin and everything. But I remember going to a shop, and they stopped me and they said, do you have chicken pox? And it's like, I don't have chicken pox. And it's like, it can be anything that will make people just stop and reject.
Well, one of the things I noticed about you, Salsabila, is that you are a very outgoing and friendly and cheerful person. And I've heard this expression before, and I even have some familiarity with it myself, but those things that they sent to break me only made me stronger. And it seems to have not only made you stronger, but happier and cheerful, full of life. How or what would you say to someone who is also feeling bullied at work or at school or even in their family? What word of hope could you give them?
First of all, this will not last,
Mm-hmm.
and make a choice deep inside you that this that you are the best that you are and will be and can be at that moment, and there's no one who has the privilege or the capability of judging you except yourself, and you allow that judgment to break you or make you. And if you keep telling yourself or believing that they are acting that way because of you, then that's a big mistake, because they're acting that way because of them,
Mm-hmm.
because of the way they think, because of their inability to comprehend and accommodate, while you have the capability to uh, first of all be strong within, and then uh, just eliminate what you hear. Know that you are good enough, know that you are strong enough, know that this shall pass, and people's tolerance for these behaviors are different. But if you just always your self-talk, make your self-talk so positive, remember, count your blessings and remember all the good things that you are about. You might be a great mom raising, four kids, cooking for them, taking care of a house, and someone comes and tells you, oh, you're good for nothing. Really? Remember that you are strong in something, and that you have capabilities and you have blessings that you can just inspire others by being strong. Never break down. There will always be people like that. They do not accept you or me. I accept me. I accept me. I cheer for me. I pray for me. I'm happy with me. Okay, and if they do not, and something, I just feel, you know I'm sorry that you are that way. Is there any way I can help? Is there anything that I can do that might help? That's all I can do. All of this, I was never a very social person. I learned to be social. I put myself within groups and circles of people, like Toastmasters, or like some, it can be any group, library group, a reading group, a mastermind, and put yourself and surround yourself with like-minded people, even if it's, like, let's say, a cooking group, any biking group, anything, people who are like-minded. You will find yourself and you will find your supporters. Build your cheerleaders. Find your cheerleaders, because they cannot, maybe they don't exist at your workplace. They don't exist and maybe in your house, but you can figure it out and find where people share the same passions, the same maybe values as you do. And one day your work and your vibes, your positive vibes, will show. Um, I want to tell you, like today, where I am at work, I am very, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah means thanks to Allah, which is our creator, thanks to God. I am very well respected. I am highly spoken of, and I have a love from most people. I'm surrounded. I feel blessed that I'm surrounded by a lot of respect and a lot of love, and that took years of work. Whatever energy or thoughts I was just, emitting, it's gone. And you have to prove yourself. You build a reputation of integrity, of strength, of positivity, and you'll get there. You'll get there. It's the same workplace, the same people, and the same people who used to call me something now are respecting me. The same people who used to listen to people who call me something and believed it say, "We never knew you were this person." So I ended up doing it, taking all of these points into a story that I shared in a TED talk, and that helped me even be stronger because people now understand, and people now know that you can, share your story, share your story. Uh, Say the good things, share your successes, say the good things that you have achieved, and that will remind you of who you truly are, that sometimes you don't see. And that's all I can say.
Being your own cheerleader, I think that sums up the person that you are. And in Dave's words, it clearly shows your enthusiasm, your positivity. It's resonating through the screen, and I'm sure it's resonating to everyone that's watching. Salsabila, I know for a fact that you help a lot of people, and you've been doing this along the way, and even you do it until this day. And I know also you actually help children build confidence. Tell us a little bit about that, what you do, and how is it going for you?
Children are just like the joy of of this life. So you want to see, you can see the hope through them, and in them as they grow. And I just love helping children. And actually, since I was uh, I don't know, as far as I remember, 14 maybe, I started, since there were few girls in the family, more boys. I was like the babysitter for most of my nephews and nieces, and my cousins. Sorry, my cousins. First, it was my cousins, then my nephews. So I lived, because I was in a dorm, so I would go on weekends and sometimes on summer breaks to my cousins, to my aunt's house, and I would take care of the kids. And so um, for a long time, like maybe for days, and while she's working and I'm on a summer break. So I just love what when I see kids growing, and I decided just to do anything to help them grow and shine and be stronger. I wish, I know like many kids get bullied, and one way to get rid of that is building the confidence in the way you communicate with others, in the way you share your stories, in the way you stand up with confidence. So I've been working with a group of kids to uh, help them improve how they present themselves to whether at school or whether in society, by the way they stand up and speak, and organize their thoughts, and share their stories in an interesting way. So I love that. Of course, there are many things that I've done with kids, and especially in the summer programs. I've worked with the youth leadership programs also, within some schools, but uh, I've, since I was like, even before I got into the corporate world, on my summer breaks, I would help with children's projects. It's like kind of babysitting them, and or even if they're a little bit grown, like 12 or 13, we would do projects together. And that was definitely that's an initiative that was started from my aunt. So she would bring her friends' kids while during summer when they have nothing. There's a lot of spare time, so she would do projects and arts and stuff with them, and I would be there. Maybe she would take one group, I would take the other. So I just love that. Uh, if we build the empathy and integrity and the confidence in children, I think we would have, those children would have a better future, a better corporate future, a better society, and better acceptance maybe to all the differences that we have.
Oh, Shabila, I just want to thank you for bringing such positivity and joy to our group here. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. And thank you for sharing your message with those people who might now may be suffering from bullies, giving them hope and letting them know that it will pass. Thank you, Salsabila.
Yeah. Thank you. I
Definitely.
know that this is not the most rock bottom, maybe, but different people have different experiences with their different rock bottoms too. So I thank you. It was a pleasure being here with you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Dave, and thank you for giving me this opportunity, Rafiq. I am grateful, and hopefully that people will gain energy and positivity from this.
Well, we are the ones to thank you, Salsabila, because you brought us a wealth of your wisdom, a wealth of your learning, and definitely a lot of experience on how to bounce back from your rock bottom. And I hope and I am sure you've inspired us and you have inspired all our listeners who are watching you from across the world, from different countries. Thank you so much, Salsabila. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
And that was our guest, Salsabila. And I want to thank you for listening to Salsabila's story. But I want something else. Could you please, if you are following us on Facebook, to go to our YouTube channel, like and follow us on YouTube as well.
Yes, and definitely we love your support and your encouragement. And if you happen to be one of our biggest fans, you could get featured on our testimonial video that we keep doing every now and then. So keep sharing, keep liking, and subscribe to our YouTube page, and you could be featured on our testimonial videos. Thank you so much for joining us here on episode 7. Don't forget to stay inspired.
And stay blessed.
Goodbye.
Bye now.
Thanks for listening to Rock Bottom Stories. Do you have a rock bottom story you'd like to share with Rafiq and Dave? Visit our Facebook page, Rock Bottom Stories, and tell us about it. Don't forget to like and share our page, and listen next time. I'm Paula Howley for Rock Bottom Stories. It's something new, and it's all about you.